Just a quick little disclaimer, guys. I am not a qualified and trained technician or mechanic, nor will I ever claim to be. Everything I do here is through self-learning. My way might not be the correct way, however it will either end with a good result or a good laugh for you guys at my expense. The sole purpose of these videos I have produced are for entertainment and information. If you choose to follow my videos as guidance, you do so at your own risk. Now that this boring bit is over, I'll let you enjoy the video. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm getting tasked with doing some rear suspension springs on a BMW 316. It's a 316 BMW with 2012 plate model, so that's 2 litre diesel. But it's the slightly restricted 2 litre diesel. Yeah, we're going to do some rear springs on it. Let's go out to the car and have a look at it, and then we'll crack on with the job in hand. So here we've got the car in question, the BMW 316D. Basically, as I was saying, rear suspension. I've got it jacked up already. It's sitting on its axle stands. Let's just take you over to the other side. I will be doing the springs on both sides, but I haven't got this wheel off yet, but it's because if I need to drop it down and go back in for any reason, I can do. Underneath here, let's just get under and show you. Right, so we've got the rear drive. Oh, for the life of me, my mind's gone blank. Well, there's that. Just don't jack up on that, whatever you do, basically. However, this beam here is a nice solid beam. I jacked up on that with the nice pad, which allowed me to evenly jack the car up on this beam. Make sure you don't jack on that because you will break it. And yeah, differential. Rear differential, that's what it is. There's my brain working again. Right, so we've got to get these covers off because I'm going to replace these springs without spring compressors, because spring compressors are going to make this job 10 times harder than it needs to be. So basically we've got bolts running through here. Focus. Yeah, we've got bolts running through here, but they look like they're just capped off at this end, not on this end. And there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the reason you want to take this off is because I'm going to have to use the jack on here to support this when I'm undoing everything else, and I'm going to use the jack to lower it down gently, and I'm going to use the jack to raise the new spring into position. However, this is plastic and this will break, so you need to take this off so it frees up the bare metal, and you can use the jack on the metal which won't break, and you can just put that back on afterwards. So, and it also allows us to get a better access to these bolts, because we need to take this nut and bolt out here and this nut and bolt out here, and I'll show you more thingy. But I think these are 10 mils in here. I'll confirm that in a minute, but I'll just get this off for now and I'll bring you back. So as you can see, guys, there's 4 pivots there, and if you look carefully you can see that these studs are still in there because they are sort of welded in there as such, but you don't need to take them out. As you can see, I've got the trolley jack underneath there, and basically that now gives us a bit more access to get to these 2 bolts at this side, and from this side as well. So we need to get both of those out. As you can see, that one just there is like a Torx bit. So we'll see what size that is, and we'll see what that size that is as well, and we'll get them out. And then what I'll do is, once I've got those bolts out, I'll then use the trolley jack to lower it down gently so it doesn't pop and rip my face off. So what you can see there, guys, is it's already dropped a little bit because I've already lowered it a bit, because I've been up and down with a jack to get this one out because I've done it wrong. Ideally, I advise undoing this one first, maybe not taking the bolt out, but undoing it at least first, because if you undo this one first, the whole thing's moving around while you're trying to get that one undone. So at least get the nut off of that one before undoing this one. And then you'll have to, this will just sort of slot out once you've got the support weight of that, no problem. However, what you'll find is you'll have to either put it up slightly or down slightly depending on how it wants to behave to get that one actually out. And that one there, it goes in that way with the nut on this side. The nut is an 18mm nut, and for the bottom of the shock, this goes in the bottom of the shock. That is an E18 Torx bit. So it's those type of bits there. It's an E18. Where have I put it? Up there it is. It's on the end of the bar, because I was using this bar just to hold, because there's less space at the, there's less space down here than there is at this side. It's more open. So if you can work on this side and hold it, which is what I was doing here, I was holding it at the other side with this E18, that makes it easier. And then this one here is 21mm each end, and it goes in that way with the nut, which you can see. Camera's not working very well today at all, is it? So the nut there, you can see, goes on the side towards the front. So it goes, the nut goes forward. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drop the jack down. You'll see that is now pretty much just got my spring out. So I can now pretty much just wiggle that free, he says. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to have to give myself a bit more space. Let's have a look. Push down on that. There we go. So if I use my foot to push down on that, that gives me enough space then to get the spring out with the cup through this way. And you'll see there, the bottom of the spring is broken. The metal cup just comes off a bit too easily for what I was hoping there. We've then got this rubber cup here which needs to come off as well. Like so, that just unhooks. That goes at the top. And then what we've got is we've got the broken spring there. We've got what's left of the spring in here still. Let me get the torch in there. So we've got what's left of the spring in there still. So I'm just going to pretty much lift that out now. Like so. And that is that. It looks like I'll be able to reuse the rubber and put it onto the new spring still. But there is part of the rubber broken. So obviously that part won't be going back in. But the bulk of this I can reuse and put on the new spring. So new versus old. Let's turn that up like that. Yeah, you can pretty much see that if I spin them round so they match roughly the same, I would say they were originally the same sort of length, because by the time you've got that coil on there, it's going to end up roughly the same sort of location. So yeah, I'm happy to say I've got the right springs, and that's one. The other one's just here because I have got two to do. So what I'm going to do now, guys, now I've got all the top rubber and the top metal cap on, and I've also got the bottom rubber on, I am going to just literally put this back. But what you'll notice is there's a little hole in there, right? There's a couple of little holes, yeah. And what you'll find is this pin has to line up with one of those holes. I'm going to quickly cross-reference with how it was sitting. But considering that it was sitting that way round, so I would say that this pin bit has to line up with the hole nearest to the brake thing. But I don't think it matters, but I'm going to put it exactly as I took it off, with that one lining up to the hole nearest to the brake drum. And the installation is just the reversal of removal. I'm going to put my foot on there and wedge it in there. That then gives me enough space to sort of, let me just see if I can show you putting that in actually. If I just pop you down there for a minute. If I put my foot onto there and push down on that, like so, Right, can then put this into here, and then line up that bung. Is that lining up? Yes, it is. And then push down, and in we go to that point. And that is now spring installed. I get the jack under there to line all these holes up and put the bolts back in. Lovely jubbly. So guys, as you can see, it's all done now. The bolts are back in and the cover's back on. So what you've got to remember though is this one here is a 21 at both sides, right? This one here is an 18 on this side, and it is the E18 Torx bit on the other side. Let me just show you. Okay, I can't show you. Basically, because the cover's on, it's making it awkward to see, but you can see just down in there. It's down in there, and I've got the cover on as well with these. So basically, that's all done now. The new spring's in, and I've done up all those bolts and all those nuts underneath with a 10mm. And I will say this is sadly seeing its death by the seams of it, because it's starting to get quite notchy. But well, I've got another 1/4 inch ratchet, so no big deal. This one's just one that has seen me through a lot of, yeah, I've had it 4 years, so yeah, it's done well. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to put the wheel back on this side, and I'm going to get the other side done, because I've got the cover off the other side already. I've got to get the wheel off the other side, and I've got to get this spring put in the other side. This spring's from the driver's side, this is the new one for the passenger side, because whenever you do suspension work, always do across the same axle at the same time. So if you're doing front suspension, always do both front, and if you're doing back, always do both back. It just helps keep the car balanced and a bit more uniform. So yeah, we're going to get this wheel off. I'm going to get this side done. I'm not going to record this side. I'm also going to get that wheel back on, because this side, the driver's side's done, and lovely. And just like that guys, she's back on her feet, back on her wheels, and she did, because of the camber of the road, come this way a bit, so she is just sitting on the curb now, but I'll just gently take her off, so that won't be too much of a big deal. If anything, I'll probably rock it back straight a little bit and then come off at an angle, so I don't end up clipping there. But as you can see, she's on her wheels and all done. So guys, thank you for watching. BMW rear suspension has been quite a fun one, if I'm honest. All I will say is, to undo them suspension bolts, you need to have strength like Hulk for some of them. But because they are quite stubborn, quite tough, and even a couple of the times my impact gun wasn't able to do it. And that's not only because it's a cheap impact gun that isn't that powerful, it's also access is a little bit limited, and especially working at the roadside on stands, that also makes it a little bit limited. But I found using the jack handle and as a bar extension worked a treat. So that's how I managed to get the Type 1s undone, and also just nip them a little bit to make sure they're tight on the way back up. But yeah, thank you for watching guys. Please like, subscribe and share, and take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now guys.